So after I spent some time just walking around, kind of taking in the landscape, this is a side road that I rode out on, and this was a treacherous little thing. Again, because you can't see it, but it's a two-track, and each of the track were beveled way down, so your tires were kind of trapped in it, and then you would hit these sand patches. I remember having to be extra careful here not to get the wrong-footed on the front tire and dropped in the sand. But I made it out. I didn't fall down, and then got back out onto the main road. As you just saw on the map a minute ago, this is Fisher Valley, and this is the main road, Onion Creek Trail, that goes through Fisher Valley. It's mostly just solid rock like I'm riding on here, but you've got these sand channels that you have to be careful of. And here we go back and start running that beautiful ridge line back into Onion Creek Trail and back into the Narrows section of Onion Creek Trail. I remember this is a little bit dicey here because this sand is, again, deeper than it looks, and you have to be careful. And the wind is coming up. You can see the wind stirring up the sand and dust here every now and then. Yeah, I remember I was concentrating really hard. Do not fall. Okay, so here we start running back on Onion Creek Trail. And we're back on this gorgeous ridge. This is really steep. I kind of wish I'd put the telemetry data on this, but I didn't have it. I'm just running the, I've taken the Insta360s off here, and I'm just running the POV chin camera, which is also an Insta360. It's an Insta360 Ace Pro, and you can connect it to the Insta360 preview remote, which will throw all that telemetry data up there, but I didn't do it here. I just kind of wanted to have a pure riding experience going back out. Yeah, there you can get a really good look at the ridgeline as it kind of snakes its way back into those green mountain formations, kind of green and gray, and then you get back into the lower part of the canyon and into the Narrows as you head back towards Highway 128, which is, many, many miles down the path. You see, I'm going real slow here because this is a little bit sketchy. The views from here were just something else. You can see you do not want to go off here, or you will roll for quite a ways. Yeah, and this was, I remember thinking it's like a roller coaster ride of a trail because you're going up and down and you got these twists and turns, and here you're falling off way far to both sides. A true ridgeline. And it twists back and forth, but as far as scenery, you can't beat this. Yeah, I should have had the Insta360 preview remote hooked up, throwing telemetry data on these video clips from the point of view camera. I didn't do it. Here you're back on slick rock. Well, I'm sure the whole thing's slick rock underneath. Just more sand on it in some places than others. You can tell when I'm concentrating in these videos because I stop talking. Sometimes I just stop talking. Enjoy the ride. Sometimes if you listen, you can hear the steepness measured by the engine braking I'm doing. Oh yeah, this was wicked. This was the steepest grade on the trail. There's even a sign warning you about it now. And before you ascend it here, of course I'm descending it. And not only is it wicked steep, but you've got this hairpin turn that you have to negotiate. Yeah, you can even see it steep on the camera here. I've got it in second gear, just engine braking down this thing. Check this out. Look how it just flows through these mountains. Now there's a beautiful stop coming up here. I think it's down there on the left where there's like a little copse of the trees, and there's a flat spot, which is, there's not very many flat spots. You can see I'm really struggling here. I don't know if struggling is the right word, but I'm really concentrating. Not get going too fast, keep on the brakes. But anyway, this was a perfect spot. Yeah, it's down here on the left. This was a perfect spot to stop and take a break, and I was lucky there was nobody there. This is
right here.
Yeah, there we go. Pull into this. I don't know, I was here for 15 or 20 minutes taking a break. It's one of the few places where you can actually stop and put your kickstand in. Yeah, it's a flat spot. I don't know what kind of tree that is, but it was pretty neat. And there's Onion Creek. I walked down and sat down there for a few minutes. Took a look at it. Looking on down the trail. I climbed back up because Onion Creek was down a ways, so it was a little bit of a hike, but not too bad. This was the only place where you could actually turn around easily on this part of the trail.
So I'll talk a little bit about navigation. As you can see, I have a Garmin Zumo XT2, and then I use Gaia on my phone. Yeah, by the way, I do have a vibration dampener on. I've ridden thousands of miles off-road. I've never had anything happen to my iPhone camera because I've always used a vibration dampener. So, no issues. And the reason I do this is because on Gaia, I look at the big picture, and on Zumo, I look at the close-in picture. So, macro, micro, and that's the way I like it. You can kind of see, right out what's up ahead, but also you can see how far you've gone on the overall route. So always fun to know that. This is Onion Creek because it has a sulfur smell, but honestly, I've not smelled much today. I'm guessing it's worse sometimes than others, but I've read a lot of reports and watched videos of people who run this route, and yeah, they always comment on the sulfur smell, but it's not smelling today. I don't know if it's the wind or it's not hot enough to get things cooking. I don't know, but yeah, no sulfur smell today. No, Onion Creek is not oniony today, which is fine. I suppose if I got out and dipped my hand in it, maybe I would smell something, but he's got more experience than I do. Or he's younger and braver than I am. I have a lot of experience, but I'm not young and I'm not brave. You know, the reason I do ADV riding is just to do exactly this. You know, just to ride in beautiful places. I don't care about going fast. I don't care about, you know, how quickly I can complete a route. In fact, I don't want to complete it quickly. I want it to last, especially something like this. You know, a very, very special day like this. You don't want to rush your way through it. You just want to go slow, take everything in, appreciate where you are, be thankful that you get to do this. So, yeah. This is one of those times when, you know, having a sat-nav, a satellite navigator like a Garmin, or, you know, there's several kinds. I have a Garmin inReach too. And, you know, I send my wife a message starting my route. And then, I don't know, every hour or so, I'll send her another message saying, you know, I'm okay, everything's great. And then when I get done, I'll send her another message saying that I'm finished riding for the day, so she knows that I'm back safe. Now, once I get back into town and get connectivity again, I always text her and tell her about the ride, so she knows I'm back pretty soon after. It's part of my routine to let her know that I'm okay. You know, anybody who does stuff like this, you have to have a supportive partner, because you're gone and it costs money, and especially doing something like this, there's an element of danger involved, and they have to be understanding about it, and my wife is. I know she's apprehensive when I take off and ride these routes, but I think she knows that, you know, I'm pretty cautious, and I know that I'm almost 67 years old. I'm riding solo almost all the time because I'm a retired guy and I do these things when other people are at work, and, you know, that adds an element of danger to it. But again, I always bear in mind, I'm solo. Anything happens, I have to deal with it. And, you know, I'm pushing 67. And even though I still feel really good, and I think I'm reasonably fit, you know, I'm not 30. It is what it is. And so I can't do what 30-year-old guys do. So I do this, and this is pretty great. In fact, this is really great. Yeah, coming up here you can see, I think it's sulfur residue, you know, coming down the canyon. I could stand corrected, but I think that's what that is. That probably would have an onion smell. Look at that, God heavens. this is one of those rides you just, you don't want it to end. I don't know how many hours I've been out here, but a few. And I could just go for the rest of the day. What time is it? I can't see. Here comes an overlander.
Okay, now we've entered what's possibly the most beautiful part of what's called the Narrows. This is really spectacular, as you can see. And it's also probably one of the most dangerous parts of the trail. It's not too bad, but obviously if you go off to the right there, you're going to be injured. You might even be killed. But you have to be careful when you come through here. As you come around this corner, is this where the bridge is? I think, maybe. Yeah, there's a little bridge. The views from both sides of that are just gorgeous, especially off to the left. You can't, this gorge drops off there, goes way down, and you can't quite see it from that camera angle. But there's one of the many pull-offs that they have along this trail. Okay, so you can see you're going over some slick rock, and this is way bumpier than it looks like on camera. It's not dangerous. I'm just taking it easy. I don't know how fast I'm going, 15 or 20. But the thing that's most dangerous about this is the views. You have to keep your eyes on the road, even though everything around you makes you want to just look. And if you want to look, you better use one of the pullouts, because every meter, every foot of this, you could hit a rock and kick you out to the side. And there are some steep grades on this, both going uphill and downhill. But again, the thing that's most dangerous about this is the distractingly beautiful landscape. It's just really something to see. I forget how long I had been riding here. It's a long time. Now, look at that view. Good heavens. There's Onion Creek way down there. Again, this is a section of the Kokopelli Trail, but this is the section called Onion Creek because the creek meanders back and forth across it so many times. And I forget what I stopped here for. I'm checking my maps. Yeah, and there you can see I'm looking at the big picture on Gaia, and then on the Zumo I've got it more zoomed in. I should have anyway. And I stopped to check my progress to see how much longer I had to go before I exited back out onto State Highway. I think it's 128. But this is just a delight to ride this. And the Narrows goes for quite a ways. I don't know how many miles it is. I didn't measure it, but it's quite a distance. So you just get to ride this and enjoy this view for a while. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Onion Creek did not smell like onions this day. I guess because it wasn't warm. It was in the 60s here because this is early May, and I don't think it was up to 70 yet. So the sulfur wasn't cooking off yet. But you can see the white. It's the dried out sulfur residue.
Can I do it? Okay.
And you're riding the bottom of this canyon, and you're thinking, how great is this? Just a wonderful ride. You're just tempted to let the images speak for themselves here. When I rode in, you saw earlier in the video, I had the 360s on. I did quite a bit of recording with those. I don't know how many people will see this part because we're almost an hour into the video, getting near the end. And, most people aren't going to sit down and watch a video for an hour. But anyway, if you've hung around this long, you get this beautiful return journey. But again, I just made a decision to pick off the 360. This guy had a real nice rig, beautiful adventure trailer. He had all the toys on it. He had a nice rig with that Jeep. Let's see, where was I at? Yeah, this was just the most beautiful part of this trail. I was really enjoying this. But again, the video speaks for itself. It's really a lot of fun. And the message there on my phone, I don't know if I could just, yeah, I had sent a satellite message to my wife, just one of those standard check-ins saying, hey, doing okay, everything's all right. And she's pretty good about responding. She was at work at this time. She has since retired in the last month, and but she's pretty good. When I would send her a text, she would acknowledge that she had gotten it, knew that I was okay. Yeah, here we're getting to the end of the Narrows, but this thing is just gorgeous all the way to the end. You can see the surface here is fine. I've gotten, I think, kind of away from the rocky parts, but you crisscross Onion Creek from the beginning of this to the end of it. Now, this can be impassable at times from what I've read. If they've had a lot of rain, it can get deep. Obviously, it wasn't on this day. It was just a few inches. Just ride and you look around, and again, for somebody from the American Midwest, I've never seen anything like this before, and so it is really striking, the first time you ride through it. Now, I was there 10 days, and you do kind of get used to it. I don't think I ever lost sight of the spectacularness of it, but you got kind of used to it, where the first time you ride through this and you see it, it's really shocking. See this kind of terrain. Yeah. Okay, here we're out on the road.
So we have completed Onion Creek, Kokopelli Trail, frontwards and backwards. Now we'll head back to Moab.
Well, as you can see here, the ride back is spectacular in its own sort of way. This is Highway 128, and it takes, I don't know, 25 or 30 minutes to get back to the end of Moab that my base camp was on at Sun Outdoors North Campground. And it's just a delight. I think the speed limit here is 55. But as you near the Colorado River, where this thing just kind of parallels it, or kind of follows its course around, they set the speed limit down to 45 miles an hour because there's so many pull-offs, there's so many campgrounds along it that they don't want you whizzing through there at 55 or 60 miles an hour, which is fine because it's just a gorgeous area to ride through, and it's just spectacular. I found the ride both out to the Onion Creek trailhead and then the ride back in almost as fun as the trail, in a very different way, because you're just going through this landscape that reminds you of, you can see here, that reminds you of so many Western movies that you've seen. This is just classic Southwest terrain. And part of this, I don't think I recorded the best part of it. I don't know why, but you get some really nice twisties going through this, and so they're fun to ride through. Yeah, here we are. We're getting nearer to town because we're back, running beside the Colorado River, and you'll be able to see a lot of different campgrounds here. I think I recorded, going past some of them. Yeah, there's some coming up here. But it's just a beautiful area because everywhere you look, there's these spectacular formations, and the river is nice. The Colorado River, at least when I was there, was kind of muddy. You can see that in the video or not. but still a beautiful river. I know it's clear in some parts and not as clear in others, and it can change from time to time. Off to the right there was a really nice restaurant, and I think it was an inn also. I hope I'm remembering correctly, but I remember riding past that and thinking, oh, that'd be a fun place to stay. But yeah, this is a nice ride back into town. It's just a really fun way to end the day. I'm probably, I don't know, 10 minutes out of Moab here, and thinking, wow, what a great day that was, and obviously one of the best rides that I've been on in my lifetime, and definitely want to ride it again sometime. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, I took the 360s off on the return just because I wanted to just do POV and do some commentary with that. And but I'm a little bit speechless in some of this, which is why I'm recording this after action narration. Yeah, this was great.